caught you in 4K. Another leak video?
Pathetic. You can't resist all the juicy details about Apple's next iMac. I can't believe I caught you here again, and you're gonna be in the comments complaining again that this is just another leak video. You're such a sheep. I got you this time, and now there's no escape. There's really no escape. You're all coming with me into singularity. You're all joining into the brain. Wait, who are you?
Don't worry about it. That's right. I'm back. Future Greg. And I have taken out this imposter Greg who was doing the most evil things, trying to make all of humanity into singularity, to combine everyone into Greg just because of leaks and rumors that maybe they aren't all too accurate right now. Maybe you were all waiting a little bit too long for the M1X to come out. But don't worry, I'm from the future and I can tell you that the M1X, what a machine. In fact, partially my cybernetic brain is made with the leftovers of the M1X chip. Got a little bit messy there for a second. Greg was about to achieve singularity, but don't worry, I made sure to take care of it. And don't worry, I also made sure that we had a replacement Greg for you, because I know you still want your Apple leaks and your Apple rumors, and of course you want your Apple reviews. So don't worry, I got a new past Greg coming. He's going to cover all the same content. He's actually going to be a little bit better than the Greg you knew, because he's from the future. Well, not the future, just a little bit in the future. I'm actually from the real future. That was weird. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Greg here, and yeah, things are kind of getting weird around here, but it's summer, and when there's no new Apple products being released, it's always going to be about what's next. And while we recently covered why the M1X MacBook Pros are going to be just as powerful as some of the Intel Mac Pros that are currently out, and it might actually be shockingly expensive, there's another M1X Mac that I have been thinking a lot about. No, not that one. The iMac. Yeah, so before the release of the M1 iMac, I was kind of wondering what Apple would give us with the next generation of iMacs. And while I'm pretty happy overall with the recent overhaul of the new 24-inch iMac, I ultimately want the bigger size 27 or more likely 30-inch iMac redesign. However, while putting together the pieces of what this iMac might be, it got me thinking about how this iMac really won't be special. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this iMac won't be a good computer. And listen, I'm excited to see what this next pro-level iMac redesign will look like. And currently, we are expecting a bigger display size of around 30 to maybe 32 inches. And then the performance of these M1X Macs should blow previous iMacs out of the water. And I am fully planning on purchasing this bigger iMac whenever Apple decides to release it, because I've always been a fan of the iMac, and I think it will probably end up being the ultimate all-in-one computer for professionals for one big reason. However, before we touch on that, we should also acknowledge that this iMac, or this iMac Pro as I will be referring to it, won't be as special as past iMacs, and that all has to do with Apple's strategy with Apple Silicon. And all we have to do is look at the M1 Macs to see what Apple is pursuing here with their strategy of putting the same series of chips into as many computer form factors as possible. And I also believe that will be the same strategy for the upcoming M1X chips. So hear me out here. In the past, bigger desktop computers like the iMac Pro or the bigger 27-inch iMac would have clear benefits over a portable computer platform like the MacBook Pro. It would have higher-end CPUs, dedicated GPU options, and configurable with more memory than you were able to get on even the bigger 15 and 16-inch MacBook Pro. Well, I think that's all about to change, because now with this theoretical M1X chip, or whatever you want to call it, all of these Macs are going to have that same M1X chip. Now, yes, technically we're hearing rumors about two different versions, a 16-core GPU version and a 32-core GPU version, but I believe even that bigger 32-core GPU version is still going to be offered in a laptop form factor, like the 16-inch MacBook Pro. And if that's true, that means that this future iMac, if it has that 32-core GPU option, will have feature parity with that 16-inch MacBook Pro. And we only have to look at products like the M1 MacBook Pro and M1 iMac to see that Apple will probably offer these future M1X Macs in the same configurations. So the same amount of storage, the same amount of memory, and in all likelihood, the iMac Pro and future MacBook Pros will have the same exact performance. And this doesn't just extend to the MacBook Pro and the iMac. Going forward, it is likely that we are going to be looking at 3 different chip segments for the Mac. The lower numbered M1, M2, or M3 chips, going into the entry-level products like the baseline MacBook Air, 24-inch iMac, and the baseline Mac Mini. Then you have the higher-end chips targeting professional users. This will go into products like the higher-end 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro, the bigger iMac, and the higher-end Mac Mini. And then on top of that, it basically sounds like we are getting the Mac Pro having its own sort of Frankenstein hybrid M1X style chip that will combine multiple versions of the M1X style chip to make 20 and 40 core computing monsters. Now that the Mac Pro will stand alone in top level computing performance, it means that it is the only Mac desktop that will continue to edge out portable laptops. Basically meaning that the days of iMac desktops having a power advantage over the MacBook Pros are long over, and you will no longer have to sacrifice power for portability. Now, yes, with current rumors in display technology, we are expecting this future 30-inch iMac to incorporate the same mini LED display technology that is currently rumored to be on the next 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro. So it sounds like the only real benefits for going with this future iMac design may be the possibility that there's more port options. And I mean maybe, because we saw how the 24-inch iMac turned out, and the obvious advantage of having a bigger desktop usually means more ports. But, I guess technically the M1 iMac has more ports than like the 2-port MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, but it's only 4 USB-C ports, so we'll see what the bigger iMac offers at this point. But if it's as thin as this current iMac, who knows? Oh, to be fair, there is an Ethernet port in the power brick, but yeah, the next bigger iMac hopefully should have more ports, and hopefully that is an advantage, but you can't count on it. So, taking the port situation out of this, what advantages does that leave the big iMac? And really, the only thing I can kind of think of is it's gonna have a really big, nice display and probably some really good sounding speakers. I'm guessing that, bigger sized iMac with more room to work with means better sounding speakers. But going back to that bigger display, that alone could be enough to sway you from the MacBook Pros, because if we're following Apple's roadmap here with their display technologies, just like the original 5K iMac ushered in what remains one of the best deals in 5K displays with a computer built in, this next generation of Apple Silicon iMac sounds like it's going to do the same for high dynamic range, or HDR. HDR is going to be so important, not only as a consumer level technology for a better display that makes HDR content pop, but also for creators who want to start producing their own HDR videos. Because up until now, the barrier to entry to get a true HDR monitor that can go up to 1600 nits of peak brightness and deliver those amazing highlights paired together with local dimming for deeper black levels was basically priced at a huge premium. I'm looking at you, Apple Pro Display XDR. $5,000 without a stand. I mean, it is a nice stand though. This iMac will probably be the Pro Display XDR for the masses, and believe it or not, because of the numbers this iMac is going to sell in, compared to that Apple Pro Display XDR, this iMac will probably be overall cheaper than that $5,000 monitor, and it's going to have a computer inside of it. Now, I have no idea what the price of this 30-inch iMac will be. This is just all speculation on my end. And I reckon there's a good chance it will be even more expensive than the current 27-inch iMac it replaces because of that added mini LED component cost. However, I am willing to bet that the price of this iMac will be considered inexpensive when you compare it against other monitors with mini LED display technology. Because as of the making of this video, I have been looking at similar PC mini LED monitors with a similar display size, and we are looking at monitors that cost upwards of $3,000. That's just for the monitor. No computer inside of it, just the monitor. So if we go back to that 5K Retina iMac unveiling, it came in at $2,500, which granted was expensive, but at the time you could not find a 5K PC monitor that retailed below what that iMac costs. Now, while I'm excited about the idea of a 30-inch M1X all-in-one with a HDR mini LED display, and I think a lot of video editors will choose this product because of just that one feature, a giant 30-inch display that is priced reasonably with HDR, I still think it actually won't sway most customers into purchasing that type of machine, because if you can have all of the power of that iMac in a portable form factor like a laptop with little to no sacrifices, I think a lot of people would choose portability over the bigger built-in display and then possibly get an external monitor to hook it up to, even if it doesn't offer that same display quality as that bigger theoretical iMac. So let me know, with the iMac possibly not having any special power advantages or configurations, would you still choose it over a MacBook Pro? Let me know why or why not. Or do you disagree with me and think that these bigger iMacs are going to, have their own custom chips and that they're actually going to perform better than the M1X MacBook Pros? Just let me know in the comments below. Let's have that discussion. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to give me a like. If you want to see more from the channel, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.